All right. Well, welcome to 101. It's the beginner's track through 6 through 12. So we're really looking at those things that would look at a secondary level. Um, I'm Terry Politi, and I work for Smart Technologies. I am also embedded with Philadelphia Public Schools. So I am the ed tech coach for 8 high schools. And then Lindsay, who will be answering questions in the chat. Lindsay, you want to speak up? Tell them who you are.
Hi, everybody. My name is Lindsay. I am a fellow teacher in the School District of Philadelphia, and I'm here to help out in the chat today. I've worked with SLSO before, so if you have any questions or need any directions repeated, just pop it into the chat and I'll be happy to help you.
Great. Thank you, Lindsay. So today's session is really for you to get your feet wet in Smart Learning Suite, to figure out how to create a few things, and you'll walk away with some stuff you'll be able to use. And then I'll also be able to help you with where we're going next. What are our next steps? So I really just want you to walk away with 2 items that you can use in your classroom ready to go. All right. We're going to be looking at the ready-made stuff. There is lots of opportunities to make other stuff, but today we're just looking at some of the easy ready-made stuff. The first one is a super sort, sorting stuff into 2 categories, poetry and prose. Now, I have to laugh at this. So most of my time was spent as a high school math teacher. So when I look at these 2 titles, I kind of cringe. I'm like, do I know what the right answer is? But anyway, what I want you to think of right now is just, well, what could I sort stuff in? So they have poetry or prose, a novel. Well, I'm pretty sure that's prose. Stanzas, if I remember correctly, that's poetry. Now, I think limited words is poetry too, but I'm going to get one wrong just to see. And you can see it bounce back. You can also see that the one who was supposed to get it, the knight, is bouncing forward. So there are different themes that you can pick and different things happen. Some of them have sound, and you'll see that when you get to pick your own theme in a minute. But what I really want you to think of right now is, what idea that I teach can I sort stuff into 2 specific categories? Something I teach that I can sort into 2 specific categories. So for me as a math teacher, it's rational and irrational numbers. Ethical or not ethical? Oh, biotic and abiotic. Vocabulary words and definition. Capitalism and socialism ideas, those are good. Fiction and nonfiction. Primary source, secondary source. So we had one of those last one. Proportional, non-proportional, great. Common nouns, proper nouns, perfect ideas. Okay, great. So keep thinking in the back of your head what you're typing in the chat. Okay, because what I'm going to do is I am going to quickly show you how I built this. So this is just you watching. And then we're going to go step by step and you're going to build it with me. Okay, so this is just you watch. All right, this all starts in my Google Drive. Okay, I'm going to go back to my real drive. For us, we're all going to, when we're all together in a minute, we're all going to create a Google folder called SLSO examples, so that we know where all of our stuff is, that we can keep revisiting it. We're opening up that folder, and I'm going to put my new SLSO document in this folder. Now, remember, you are just watching this. There was also 2 people who I had to admit into our Google Meet today who weren't using their Philly ID. So you just want to make sure when we get to this part that you're using your Philly Drive. But anyway, it's putting a document in my drive just like it would if it was a Google Doc. I'm going to add an activity, and this is the SLSO Smart Learning Suite dashboard. I'm going to click on add an activity. The activity I'm going to add is game-based, and I'm going to add a super sort. You see there's a whole bunch in here. Today, we're just focused on super sort. So you get the idea of one, and then we'll add different ones, different sessions of this. Now, for lack of being able to type and talk at the same time, I am going with a very elementary topic and doing evens and odds, because I can still type and talk when I'm doing that. If I'm trying to think rational and irrational, it gets me a little bit more off. So I'm just putting in stuff in the categories here. And notice I can have 10 on each side if I want them to. Okay. We're going to add text today. Just think of things you can add text with today. You can upload images. We get into that in the course 102, but you can add images. You just have to have them on your machine already. So we're going to hold off on that. So today we're just going to put stuff in as text. Okay. So I name my two categories. I put things in. I hit next. This is where you pick the theme. The theme in that one was the dragon one. I have to tell you, with high school kids, I absolutely love Rock Band. I'm going to click on finish. Now you won't be able to hear the actual music because I have headphones on, but there's rock music going on when this thing plays. And if you get it right, you get to hear louder rock music. And if you get it wrong, let me show you what happens. Let me hit preview. So if I get one wrong, watch the guy with the red guitar. Do it again. Keep doing that because kids like it. But if I get them right, it actually plays a tune of music. Then you hear them kind of go from there. But I'm okay if the kids get them wrong on purpose because they at least know what the right answer is. If they like to see them fry, have at it. But at least you know what it is. These games are made for individual assessment, meaning it's assessing them. They get to find the answers, not us. This is their practice. I'll show you where our practice would be that we would grade them, but that's their practice. Then we're going to name the page. So this is a super sort, odds and evens. So that is literally just to name the page. So as you're teaching and you have several pages in a file, you actually know what it is when you come up to it. And then we're also going to name the file. So it's untitled right now. I'm just going to call it games. Notice it says saving right to the right of that. Once it says saved, I'm good to go. I can close out that file. And it's sitting in my Google Drive in that folder that I put it in as games. So if I want to use this next week with my class, I just double click open, and it'll open in Smart Learning Suite ready to go. So it works just like any file in my Google Drive that I can open or use. Okay, give it a second, and there comes my file. Now I do want to point out that when I see the black over here, I am in present mode. It's ready to present to my kids. Okay. When I see blue is when it's in edit mode. So if I actually come back here to my edit mode, you'll notice I see the blue. So blue is edit mode. The black is present mode or run mode or whatever you want to call it. So we are each going to make a game of Super Sort right now. Okay. So remember, it all started from my Google Drive. So what I'd like you all to do right now is open up a new folder or a new tab, excuse me. Open up a new tab in your browser. Okay. We're going to make that folder first so that we can always come back here and find these. So if you click on the new button in the top left-hand corner, the very first choice is folder. So if you will click on folder, we're going to call this SLSO examples. SLSO standing for Smart Learning Suite Online. Click create. Now to make sure we're putting our file in there, we need to double click on that folder so that it opens the folder. So when you double click on that folder, you will see that it says at the top, My Drive, Chevron, the error, whatever you want to call it, Smart Learning Suite Examples, and it should say drop files here because it's empty because we just made the new folder. So everybody should be sitting inside their new folder. You need to make sure you're in your Philly District Drive. And if you're in your Philly District Drive, you're going to click on that new button again. Scroll down till you see the word more, hover over more. You get a new pop-up menu. So you're going to go to the right, and then in that pop-up menu should be Smart Learning Suite. You're going to click on Smart Learning Suite, click Create and Share, and then you're going to wait to make sure everybody else is with me. When you're in the SLSO dashboard, or where you see Add an Activity, a big green button, you're going to wait. If you're lost, now's the time to let us know. Either come off mute or put something in the chat so that we can make sure everybody's in the same spot. Teacher sign in, Beverly. Good choice. If it asks you for that, you want to sign in as a teacher? So, Kaylee, it should be linked to your Philadelphia email automatically. If yours didn't ask that question, then it probably is and you're in anyway. Alicia, did you have a question?
If you have a few, you have to take your philasd.org account, right?
Yes, yes.
And then adult?
Yes.
Agree.
Yep. Sorry, that's the first time login stuff. I haven't seen that in a long time. I forget it's there sometimes. No, it's perfectly all right. We're in the beginner session. That's why we stop here, to make sure everybody's good.
Okay.
Okay, so Deborah, if yours says students aren't able, if you scroll to the bottom of that page, does it give you a link for teachers to log in?
Let me try that. No, it's just a black background screen.
Okay.
I think I might have created and not shared on that last screen. Is it possible for me to get back there?
Open another tab. Open another tab for a minute. And go to Suite, SUITE. .smarttech, there's 2 T's in there, .com. And when you get to that page, Deborah, describe to me what you see.
It says welcome, teacher sign in.
Click teacher sign in. Then did it ask you your Philly?
Yeah, it's asking me to sign in. That's my email.
Okay.
Oh, now it's saying more about you. Minor or adult.
Adult.
And I agree.
Yep.
Okay. There it goes. It's kind of slow.
Well, part of it is we're launching it for the first time.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Now, yours is not connected to your Google Drive right now. So we're going to close that tab that you just opened.
Oh,
and
okay.
go back to the tab that had your Google Drive in it.
Okay.
Okay, and then you're going to hit the new button in the top left-hand corner.
All right.
Scroll down to where you see more.
Mm-hmm.
And then a pop-up menu comes up to the right. Go down to Smart Learning Suite.
Okay.
And click on that. And hopefully it will, you have to hit create. There'll be a blue button in there. I forget that step sometimes. Sorry.
Now it looks like your screen.
Perfect. Perfect.
Thank you.
Anybody else? All right, good. All right. Now, so what you're looking at right now is the Smart Learning Suite dashboard. Okay. But what we're going to do right now is we're going to click on that big green button that says Add Activity. So click on the big green button and up pops up a menu. Now, this is what I'm talking about. Smart Learning Suite has a lot of things in it. We're going to just narrow it down to 2 things today. and then keep adding more as we go on with these sessions. So don't be panicked about all these things. But if you're interested and or you're ready, you also have a coach who'll be able to speed up this process for you if you're ready. But you're going to find the button that should be in your second row at the very end, very right, says game-based activities. So you're going to click on game-based activities. When you click on game-based activities, there's lots of choices in here. Again, we're just going to narrow it down to one today so that everybody gets the idea. So I want you to scroll down till you find the one that says Super Sort. And you can either hover over the top right-hand corner and click Preview so you can see it. Or if you know Super Sort, which you all know because that's what we're going to do, click on Super Sort. And then you all should be on a pop-up that says across the top, Super Sort, add content. Required category names, we need to put those required category names in first. Okay, so the required category names are the ones that you were popping in the chat, or if you thought of another one, that's fine. Like some of you put fact or fiction, common nouns, common and proper nouns, whichever one you want. Put those as your category names. I'm going to keep sticking with odds and even because that way I can also keep talking and watch the chat and type at the same time.
We need to fill out both.
The categories? Yes.
Yeah,
because this is a super sort. So we're sorting into two piles. So you need to think of a concept that I can sort into two. Like, for instance, if I were teaching elementary, it would be verbs and nouns. Okay?
So
Or
another example would be online internet behavior, good or bad.
perfect. It could be for me as a high school math teacher, it's rational or irrational numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So there's lots of options, but the template we're looking at right now sorts it into two categories. Below that, you can put up to 10 items in any one category. So actually 20 altogether if you put 10 and 10. But it doesn't have to be even in this one. Just add a few in each category. I'll give you one more minute to finish up some stuff in each category. We will get to in 102. Remember, this is course 101. In 102, we'll get to how you add pictures. That's that mountain on the right, but you have to have them preloaded. So today, we're just sticking with text that we can type in. So make sure you have something in both categories. Remember, you'll always be able to come back and edit, so it's not a big deal. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to pick the theme. So in the bottom right-hand corner, you should see a blue button that says Next. Click on Next. And
mine doesn't. It's not. It just said Previews.
Okay. Do you have something in each category, and do you have at least one item under each category?
Oh, how can I add an item in each category?
So below it,
you're
looking at my screen, you just start typing in the.
No, wait. Oh, okay. How can I? Okay. So I go to where that. Okay, I see. I wasn't looking. I'm sorry.
Okay, it's all good. Click Next. And then I showed you Rock Band. You might like Rock Band. I do like Rock Band. But I also like Pirates. And I actually have two of my high school teachers that like the Pirates. They like blowing up ships. But anyway, pick whatever theme you want. I'm going to pick the pirate theme. And then click Finish. Let it build your activity. Sometimes it takes up to like 30 seconds. So don't panic. It's saving as we go along, so it's not going to mean that it's going to not be there. But it should pop up, and you should see two buttons then. One says Edit, and one says preview. Okay, we're going to preview it right now. We want to see what our game is. You get to play it. So click on preview. You might want to make sure you're muted, otherwise we all hear your music.
Oh. Mhm.
And definitely try to get one wrong to see what happens in your particular theme with it wrong. Because as I said, I have no problems with a kid putting it in the wrong category if they just like, for me, I picked pirates. If they like blowing themselves up, I'm okay with that because they at least know where it goes. That's the most important part of this.
I'm a little disappointed my alien spaceship only shakes. It should be rising up in the air or something when you get it right, but it just shakes. I'm disappointed in that.
So at some point in time, remind me, I'll show you where the complaint department is or what you want. Because, you know, when you just said that, I'm like, I would expect like this big tongue to spit out whatever it was. Like that would think of me as something alien. All right. In the top right-hand corner, there is an X to make sure you've X'd out of the preview. And it should bring you back to the slide that says edit or preview. Okay, Deborah, I see you're having problems. Lindsay's on it. Let me know if you need me to stop, Lindsay. If not, all right. We need to name this slide so that when, as you're teaching, if you have a whole bunch of slides, you remember what it is. Because right now you just see the word super sort, but sometimes when I'm on the groove and moving, I have no idea what I even made in here. So I'm going to add, you can either get rid of super sort, or for me, I'm going to put super sort, odds and evens, so that when I come to this slide, before I even hit start playing the game, I'm like, oh, kids, we're going to do a super sort. So I know what it is. Okay. So that's naming the slide.
So Terry, did you click on edit or did you click on the word super sort to change the name?
Clicked right on the word super sort.
Okay, thank you.
You're quite welcome. The edit literally takes you back to that theme where, let's say, oh, I need to add 2 more items to my odd category or something along those. And that, or if I didn't like my theme, I don't remember who didn't like the spaceship theme, but they can go pick a different theme if they want to. So that's how you edit out anything in there, would be the edit button. Okay, so everybody should have their page named. Now we want to actually name, yeah, the pirate is kind of fun. It doesn't matter how old you are, the blowing up a ship is kind of fun. All right, we want to name our file though, so that we can find it later. So if you look in the top left-hand corner, there's a big finish editing, and right to the right of that, it says untitled. So we want to click in where it says untitled and name it. I'm just going to name my game for right now. You'll notice to the right of where you're typing that file name, it either says saving or saved. You want to make sure it says saved before you X out. But literally that would be, it's saved as we went along. Okay. I'm going to have everybody click on finish editing, top left-hand corner. And it should take you back to your Smart Learning Suite dashboard. And if you scroll a little bit, you'll see the game you just made. So that's one place where it's housed, is there. Okay. But really, we should be keeping everything in our Google Drive, which this is. So I actually want you to X out of this tab. I want you to close the tab. And sitting right behind it should come up is your Google Drive. And it should say, oh, look, I'm in my SLSO examples folder. And there's the one I just named. I named it games.slsl, just SLS, excuse me. Okay, so if I want to start this game next week, literally I come into the drive, find it, double click on it and hit start and it'll go. Okay, so that would be how I find it. That's how I'm going to move on.
Can I make one recommendation?
You can.
Most teachers have many, many, many files or folders in their drive. Color code the folder.
Yeah.
So you know where it is. They're alphabetical, but color coding is easy.
Or if most of you are secondary, like you'll have unit 1, unit 2, unit 3. So for me, math teacher, I'm in algebra 1. I make a folder, and inside of algebra 1 is my unit 1, 2, 3 folder, and inside of unit 3 then is by section or by topic, however you go. And then I put everything for that topic or section in one folder so that I can find all the pieces again for that one particular thing. Okay, but he's right, and we'll teach you as you go along. You can make more copies of these, that sort of stuff, but let me digress. All right, I'm going to have you come back over and watch just my screen for a minute so we can go to the next example, and then we're going to make another example. Okay, so if everybody's back watching my screen as it's refreshing itself. All right. So our next section is going to be dealing with renewable and non-renewable energy. This is a YouTube video that if I had you connect, you could play, or if I'm just presenting, I could play. But it's in the file. And by the way, you will get an email next week with a link for this file, for the teacher's file. You'll get a link for what is the presenter notes, and I'll just show you them in a minute. So these are the presenter notes. So it has the file I'm using, but what it also has is step-by-step down here, the I do, you do. So if you think about it, if you wanted to figure out how you did that, just look at all the you do's and they'll be there. So that will all come in your email next week. Okay. But the renewable, non-renewable is a YouTube video in there so you know what we're doing. But we're going to look at the Venn diagram for renewable energy. You will notice that the Venn diagram itself, no matter how hard I try, I can't move. I can't move this because it's been locked down. However, all the stuff down here is movable. Okay, whether it's pictures or whether it's text. So if you think about renewable and non-renewable, if I think about oil, well, I don't think there's a renewable source for that right now. So I'm pretty sure that's non-renewable. I'm thinking gas is non-renewable. But remember, I also said I'm an algebra teacher. So you could have this whole discussion with your kids and they could be putting them where they need it to be. Okay, or you could be doing it whole group, putting it where they tell you to put them. Or they could be doing it small group. There's a lot of options. Today, the option that we're looking at is just how to build the Venn diagram. And then we'll take you to some other options after that. But notice in here, I could put in all different, I could put in text or pictures. Now, if I'm doing this with a class, there's also a reset over here that I can always reset it. And it puts everything back to where it started from, kind of like you erasing the board. Okay. So what we're going to look at is the Venn diagram right now. We're going to build one. But first, what I want you to do is I want you to think of content that you can use for a Venn diagram. So for instance, nouns and verbs, because there's crossover in there when I say the word like color. Am I talking about color picture or am I talking about the color red? Okay, so nouns versus verbs. What can you use for a Venn diagram with your content area? Let me give you a little bit of time to think. And then in the chat, you tell me what you could use in your content area for a Venn diagram. David, I love the even and prime one. I had to think for a minute. Oh yeah, there is two. Somebody else could also say from the last one that they had fact and fiction. There's that gray area. Is it fact or is it fiction? Have we proven it yet? There's some interesting parts there too, but I won't go there. But think about something that you can use with a Venn diagram. Andrew, you really need 3 circles because you need to put a Chromebook in there too, just to finish the loop. I'd say it links this, but not that many people see those.
I try to forget about Chromebooks. I see hundreds and hundreds of them. I have nightmares about Chromebooks.
Great, Ann. Great, Donna. All right. So this idea that you're thinking of is we're going to make a Venn diagram using that particular thought process. Ooh, filters versus transform. I like that. All right. So we're going to do the same thing that we did the last time. I'm going to build it real quick. You're just watching this time. And then we'll go step by step through it so that you can see and build with me. Okay, so this is the you watching part. Now, we're going to go back to that SLSO examples folder. I can either go new, more, smart learning suite and make a Venn diagram by itself, or I can open this up and add a second page. It doesn't matter which one you do. I'm going to go new, more, smart learning suite and make two separate things. So I'm going to create it in that same SLSO folder though, so that I'll be able to go back and find them later on. And also some of the other sections that we have will build off of the stuff that's in there. So this one's very similar to what we did before. We added an activity. We came to all the different choices we have. We're going to click on the purple folder to find all the different graphic organizers that are ready-made. And then we're going to find Venn diagram and we're going to open it. So it's now opening the Venn diagram and it's putting it, remember, in that folder that I have in my drive. And then I'm going to be able to make the edits I want to before I use it. Now, first of all, let me explain to you how all these templates work. If I click on this, notice it's locked. And I pointed that out to you when I was demonstrating it before. But let's suppose you're one of these people that want to keep all the choices on the left-hand side. You can always unlock it, move it to where you want to, and then relock it so it won't move for the kids. So you have the option in here of what you want movable and what you don't want movable. Okay, so I've moved it, I relocked it. I'm going to now, these are my tools right here. I'm going to grab the A tool, I click on it once. It turns white with a blue underline. I click somewhere on the slide, and then I can type in renewable. Okay, now I have to make that, you can't read that, I can't read that. Okay, you can highlight it, you can change it here if you want to. You can also, once you have clicked off of it, notice I go back to my finger tool. I can click once on it to get these three components. This one resizes. This one rotates it. This one gives me some lock choices, duplicate, infinite cloner, or delete. Well, once I have it where I want it, I'm going to leave it there. I cheat. I have no idea what size that is, nor what font. So I'm going to click once on it, go to the drop down, duplicate it, move it over here. And now I want non-renewable. Okay. Now, if I don't do anything else, and if I gave this to the kids as is, they could move those words. So when you have words that you want to lock, they can't move, lock them because they won't be able to unlock them. Okay, so those are, everything now is marked down, nothing moves. Now I'm going to add a few words. I'm going to add wind. And that is way too small. And probably not red because I want to keep the topics red. So I'll go back to black for that. All right. So now I have wind. If I'm going to add more words, again, I cheat. I just duplicate a couple of times so that I have a bunch of them that are all the same size. And I come back in here and I change these. Remember, if I click once, I get the bars. Click twice, and I can go right in and edit. Okay? I don't even remember what else was over there. All right, there's my choices, and I can move these wherever I want to. All right, now, we also had pictures. So to add pictures in any of these graphic organizers, it's pretty easy. So your last tool over here we haven't used yet is the mountain with the plus sign. I just click on that. You can upload images you already have from your computer. That's for a web link. And then this is images I'm looking for. So I want to find a gas pump. I hit search. It brings me to these real ones. Now, you're more than welcome to put in a real one. Sometimes they look good. Sometimes, especially when they get small, it's harder to tell what you're looking at. So a lot of times when I'm in here and typing gas pump, I'll type in clip art behind it, the word clip art, because then it gives me a clip art that's pretty distinguishable when it's smaller. And again, it has the same 3 things that everything else does. I just make it smaller or bigger down here in this corner. And now I can move my gas tank. So for your button, it just depends whether you want real or you want clip art. What you type in there is what will come up best for you. I'm going to delete this one because I already have one on there. Okay, and again, all I did was type in, click here. I'm going to type in wind, and there I get my solar wind. Again, I didn't type in clip art this time, so I got the real picture. So you're going to add some pictures, you're going to add some words, you're going to lock some stuff down. Because it's a new file, I'm going to rename it again. Wait till it says saved, and then I know it's saved. Okay, and then I can hit finish editing. And now it's here in my SLSO dashboard. I'm going to hit start. I could have also gone back to my Google Drive and double clicked on it, and it would have taken me right here too. So now we're ready. And so this is me teaching. So give me 30 seconds for my teachable moment. Welcome, class. Today we're doing renewable and non-renewable energies, blah, blah, blah. Tell me what you know about them. Great. Can so-and-so come off mic and tell me where I'm going to put the pump? Oh, it's non-renewable. Can somebody tell me where I'm going to put the wind? Oh, wind's here too. Oh, maybe we have a big discussion of whether oil is now synthetic, renewable, non-renewable. I don't know. You get the idea. But I'm having a big discussion with my class. Then I want to clear the mat. So over here are my tools. I have my movable tool. I have my pen tool or highlighter. I have the eraser tool, or I have the reset. I can reset it and it is ready to go. So you can have whole group discussion with it. But today we're really about creating. Okay, but I want to give you a highlight for 102. In the next course, we're really about getting the kids connected, and you can make it an individual handout, meaning every kid then would get their own Venn diagram and be able to sort. Plus, they can also add to it. Or you can make it a collaborative workspace, which means you can make it a small group workspace or everybody on one mat and they can all move, all add, all whatever. That's where we're going. Today, we're really just about how do I build so that I'm ready for that next step. Okay, so now if I close this example, you'll notice in my SLSO examples folder, I have 2 files. One was the game I made and one was the Venn diagram. Okay, so we are going to, I'm going to get rid of the Venn diagram because we're going to make one together. Okay, so what I'm going to ask you to do right now is to go into your Google Drive on another tab, find the SLSO examples folder, double click on it, and then make sure your screen looks like mine so that we know you're in the folder and ready to go to add the next activity. When you're good to go, either a thumbs up or a yes in the chat. Thank you, Andrew. Anybody else as you're ready? Great, David. Great, James. Great, guys. Keep going. Perfect. I know you're all there then. All right. Now we're going to add this new file. So if you're in that folder, we're going to add a new SLSO in there. So you're going to go to the new button, top left-hand corner, click on new, go to more, and then scroll down onto Smart Learning Suite. Click on Smart Learning Suite. You have to actually click the blue button that comes up that says create and share. Give it a 30 seconds till it's creating itself, and it takes you back to the dashboard, the SLSO dashboard. So everybody sees that big green button that says add activities. click on the Add Activities. And this time you have to scroll all the way down until you find the purple button that says Graphic Organizers and click once on that purple button. And it takes you into the graphic organizers that we already have. We're doing the Venn diagram, so you have to scroll all the way down till you find the one that says Venn diagram and click once on it, and it will put the Venn diagram into our document. Give it 15 seconds till it builds that page. And then if you're having trouble and not seeing a Venn diagram, now would be the time to tell us so that we can make sure we get everybody on the same spot. Loretta, do you have a question, or is that raised hand from earlier? Perfect. Sometimes I'm not looking. Lindsay's watching it more than I am. But the raised hand comes to me. Sorry. Okay. So if you click once on the Venn diagram itself, you should see the lock button in the top right-hand corner. Looks like a padlock. So if you want to leave that where it is, you're good to go. Don't do anything. But if you want to move it or resize it, click on the lock. And the option right underneath that pops up to unlock. And now I have my blue circles that could rotate it if I wanted to. That could make it bigger or smaller if I wanted to. That could just move the whole thing down to the bottom right-hand corner. Whatever you want to do, those are your options. When you have it where you want it, you want to make sure you go to that drop down in that top right-hand corner though, and click on the first choice, which is lock. So that the Venn diagram mat itself does not move. And the kids can't unlock anything that you lock. All right, next we're going to add our titles, our categories for the circles. So you're going to click once on your A tool. Get that white box with the blue line underneath of it, and then click once on the mat for the text box to show up, or once on the slide. Type in one of your category names. Again, you can highlight everything in that text box and play around with the fonts and sizes and do whatever else you want. Or I probably click once and use the blue circles. That's just usually my MO. All right, we're going to do another one. For me, I cheat most of the time. If I already have the size and the color and everything else I like, I just click the drop down arrow off of renewable, at least my first category. And there it says duplicate. I duplicate it and then type in my other category there.
Sorry, I didn't see where you duplicated. I was like doing mine.
It's okay. So
Can
if
you show me
you
one more
notice I
time?
clicked once on it and I get the drop down menu,
Mm-hmm.
duplicates right there.
Okay, perfect. Thanks.
You're welcome. Now, if you just put the categories in like mine now, they're movable. So the kids could move it if you made this like a handout. So one of the things you want to do is make sure if it's something I don't want them to be able to do, is that I lock it. So from that drop down menu, there is a lock. By the way, if you've ever used Smart Notebook, all the different locks that you've created in Smart Notebook, you can upload them in here and they'll work also. So we've now put in our categories and we've locked them. So let's add like 3 words that could be part of your Venn diagram. So grab your A tool again and type somewhere on the mat one of your choices. So have at least 3 choices in there. Okay, everybody should be getting pretty good with the text tool by now. It's like anything, enough times and you got it. It just takes a little bit of time. All right, the next thing we want to do is we want to add some pictures to this Venn diagram. So not only can you sort words, but we can sort pictures. So we're going to use the tool we haven't used yet, which is the mountain with the plus sign. I want to click on that. And you get 3 choices. Select something from your computer, a hyperlink, or a Bing Safe Search. We're going to do the Bing Safe Search today. And I'm going to search for, in mine, a gas pump. But remember, I wanted it to be a clip art, so I type in clip art behind that so that it's a clearer picture. And hit enter or hit the looking glass and it'll do the search for you. Whichever one you like. Drag it onto the mat. Literally, it has the same circles that the words do. So the one in the bottom right-hand corner of the picture will make it bigger or smaller. The one at the very top center can rotate it. And then you have the drop-down menu if you wanted to lock it, duplicate it, make it an infinite cloner if you wanted to, anything along those lines. I'm not locking it. I just want to show you it's there. More than likely, when you bring pictures in, you're going to resize them first to that bottom right-hand corner. Do that process one more time. Add one more picture, just so you have the process down.
Quick question, and if I asked an advanced question, I apologize. Is there a way to layer things like?
So inside of Notebook, you can layer it and then bring it in here, but you
Yeah,
can't
like,
layer it in here.
all right, because like what I have the word negative written on mine, and when I was trying to get a negative symbol close to it, the picture kept covering up my word. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do. I do. So the if you've ever have you ever used Smart Notebook?
No. But on I use Jamboard a lot right now, and in Jamboard you can layer things.
Okay. Well, this does layer, but it's the order that you put them in. You can't reorder them.
Oh, I gotcha.
So if you put the negative sign in last, it should go right on top, and you should be able to move it over it.
All right. Thank you. I'm
All
gonna
right.
tell you.
I didn't understand the whole question.
Are we naming these things neutral, anything we want, or is there a naming scheme?
You can name it whatever you want. I'm going to call it the Venn diagram because that's
Okay.
what it's for me right now.
All right, and should we save it to the drive with the other one?
It should automatically be there because you
If we're in the
started.
drive, yeah. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yep, good call. All right, so everybody is now naming it. So in the top left-hand corner, right next to that finish editing, it says untitled. You're going to click in there and change it to your title. So at this point in time, everybody should have a Venn diagram that's got some words and some pictures to sort. And now we're going to see it in present mode, how you would present it to the class. So remember, this is it's got all the blue. This is edit mode. If you all right now click on that finish editing button, it literally will take you back to the Smart Learning Suite dashboard. Scroll a little bit, and the very top item you see under Add Activity should be your Venn diagram. All you do is hover over that picture, and you should see the Start button there. Just click on Start. And it should open up your Venn diagram so that it's got black surrounding it, meaning you're in presentation mode. Now I want you to pretend that you're presenting this in class. So the very first thing you want to show the kids is the 2 category names. So on the left-hand side, grab your pen, pick whatever color you think they'll notice, and either underline or circle the words that are your categories. It will not be perfect in your trackpad. It's much better when I'm on the smart board and they can see it at home because it's a real circle or a real ellipse at least. But you also had to write on it. Okay. The thing I always forget when I'm in present mode is now I want to move those items. Look at your tools first. To move things, you need to be on the finger tool. So grab the finger tool. And now just move some of those items wherever they belong. Nobody sees your screen except for mine, so it doesn't really matter. Then I start questioning myself. Have they made any synthetics for natural gas? I don't know. But anyway, you would have the whole conversation with your kids, right? Okay. I want to clear that mat off. I want them to have their own to practice on. So on the tools on the left-hand side, you have a reset button. It's the swirly arrow. Click on that. It'll ask you if you really want to reset. Yes. And it puts everything back and clears off the whole mat. Okay. So the idea here is that you figure out how to build today, and then next time we'll show you how to connect so that I could give a handout to this for every single kid. So every kid can get their own copy, or you can make it a small group workspace. And also by any of those, not only can the kids sort what you put up here, they could also add a few of their own also. So another question would be, can you put something else in the renewable and something else in the non-renewable that I didn't suggest? And they would have those rights. That's next time. This time, I want to look at the graphic organizers one more time. So we made a Venn diagram. Let's look at the rest of the ready-made. So in the top left-hand corner, you will see 3 lines. Top left-hand corner, you'll see 3 lines. Click on those 3 lines. We're going to edit the lesson, but I want to point out a couple other things here. There's a share here, which we'll get into the next time, that gives the kids an asynchronous link to do stuff anytime you want. You can put it in Google Classroom. There's also make a copy. And since a lot of you are secondary, we'll come back to that also. But let's say I want one of these for period 1. I want a different one for period 2. And I did one so that way my work doesn't meld together. That all comes under those 3 lines. But what I want you to do is I want you to, don't remember, I think it was Andrew. If you scroll down, Andrew, there's that request a feature. Tell them you want the aliens to do something else. Okay? But what the rest of you are going to do is you're going to click on Edit Lesson. And actually, we're going to go back into edit mode of this exact lesson. All right, so right now, we have games, that's one slide, and we have Venn diagrams, that's one slide. To add another slide to anyone, there's a blue plus in the bottom left-hand corner. You're going to click on that big graphic organizers. Click one more time, and this time, take a search through them all and say, ooh, for me, I love Frayer. I'm going to pick Frayer model, but pick one that you can edit. So go into graphic organizers, pick one that you could use. I'll give you another 45 seconds to look through them all. Okay, pick the graphic organizer that you want if you haven't already, or just pick one that's right in front of you right now. They all know. So let's say I picked Frayer model.
You were
And I
cutting
want,
off. I didn't hear you. Sorry.
can you hear? That's okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it breaks off sometimes. Thanks.
Okay. So I picked the Frayer model, but if I click on the Frayer model map or the words, like if I pick on the word example, you see where it's locked? I could always unlock that and change it if I want to. So any of these graphic organizers are all, you can lock or unlock them, edit them before you put them out to the world. For me, more than likely, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and just put in my word, make it a little bit bigger, and then lot, if I spelled it right, irrational. And then it's ready to use with my kids, except for I may want to lock it so that they can't move irrational numbers. But what I would ask them to do then is to help me fill out a Frayer with the word irrational number, and then we'd start filling it out. But I want to lock that, okay? So I'm just going to give you about 30 seconds to play with the one you currently have out. If you want to add something to it, unlock something, see how it's all formed. All right, I'm going to get you to come back over and look at my window again for a minute. So this works the same way everything else does. As you add pages, you need to, nothing new there. The most important thing is to make sure that you name it so it's easy to find. But because of how we made all these, we know where they are. They're all in that SLSO examples folder because we made the folder and we put them in there. But just like everything else that works inside of your Google Drive, let's say I want to put this with my Unit 4 stuff. I can always right click on it and move it to wherever I want to in my drive. I can also drag and drop it. But that way you can keep stuff together. So if it inadvertently gets the wrong spot, then you know you can always move it. That kind of helps you find it later. That's probably the most important thing. So for me, like I have my lesson plan, my presentation, any student handouts, all in the same Google Drive folder. So that next year when I go to lesson plan for that unit, I'm like, oh, I already got this. Oh, I didn't like this. But I have it all in one spot so I know where it is. But you can always move stuff if you need to. Not to get this confused, but I also want to explain to you smart folders now, or you should, or it will come shortly. We made the SLSO examples folder. As soon as I find it, there it is. Okay. But probably you also have a smart learning suite folder. Okay. So if a teacher shared with you a link for a file and you click on it to make your own copy, everything should land in the Smart Learning Suite folder, because that's where when you don't start it, it doesn't know where to put it. So everything that else is smart goes there. Like there's what we call the Smart Exchange, where you can go out and search for other things. It's kind of like Teachers Pay Teachers, but it's free. It's all part of the Smart Exchange, where you can get ideas from other teachers. Whenever you make a copy of their stuff, it all lands here. And then you can come into this folder at any point in time and simply move it to where you want to, so it's with the right stuff. Okay, so I want to just explain to you those kind of folders. Questions on that?
Yes. When I open mine, it doesn't look right. Like, I don't know, you had a list there with yours. Mine has, sometimes the picture's there, sometimes it's not there, and I'm confused what I should see when I open up my
Folder? Okay. The first thing you'll see here is the quick access. You can turn that on or off. Okay. I happen to like list view. Math teacher, very orderly, have to have it that way. But you can also come over here and put it on grid view so that everything's more of a grid of how it looks. So if I open it up in grid view, let me find my Smart Learning Suite folder. Here it is. It's much different view, and I'm way zoomed in, by the way. So now it's a grid of everything that's in there. But the icons don't mean as much to me, so I like clicking on this little button right next to the eye and switching it between list view and grid view. Did that answer your question?
I'm gonna try it and see.
Okay. I also like list view because I can make sure it's sorted alphabetical for me, so that it's all in the order that I want it for.
Well, mine must, it seems to be in reverse. Like list view look like it's grid, and I don't know.
So I'm in list view, but there's a grid up here, meaning I want to switch it into grid.
That's the grid view, right?
So what this is looking for right now is it's in list view, but the button is for if I want to switch it to grid view. The button doesn't tell me what I'm in. The button gives me the choice of what I want to turn it into.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
I think so.
Okay. Oh, somebody having a fire drill?
No, it's my reminder that school's over, because I just keep teaching.
Any other questions in here as we're wrapping up? Okay, so let me come back over here. Sorry, I went too far.
I noticed when I clicked on one of the activities I made, it was all black around it, and at the top it said open in Smart Learning.
So you click that button at the very top and say open in Smart Learning.
Okay.
Because it's not a Google native product, you have to tell it what you're opening it with. Did that make sense?
And from there, if I wanted, like from here, if I wanted to add it, edit it, what would I do?
The 3 lines in the top left-hand corner.
Okay.
Give you that edit lesson.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
All right. So this was 101. And we are running 101 for 3 weeks. You're in the second week. So next week we're running 101 again. So you don't need to be part of it next week. But from January 29th through February 19th, there are 3 chances to catch 102. 102 is still the beginner track, but we'll add a few more activities. I know we add a different game. We add pictures to the game if you wanted to see how to do pictures. And some of you were math, so that would be how to add math equations, etc. And we're also going to show you how to connect the kids so that you can give them a handout, meaning everybody gets their own, or a workspace, meaning it can be a whole group or small group. You'll have different options. So those are the big highlights for week 2 or session 2. And then February 26th through March 12th, 3 different days, 6 different opportunities, because there's a 12 o'clock or a 1:40 session, all of those days to hit 103. And we're going to keep adding skills. Okay. So this is kind of like a 4-part series so that you can keep adding skills as you go along. You also have another awesome opportunity to work with your coach. Every school has a technology coach. And if you're not sure who your technology coach is, Lindsay will stick a link in the chat. So it will show you exactly who your coach is. And all you need to do is contact them and say, hey, I was in 101 and I'd like to, and they'll be like, sure, here, let's cook you up with a date so you can work. And if you're ready to go faster than what we're going, then hook up with them, because they'll be able to show you, like if you made a Venn diagram today and you're ready to share it with your kids next Wednesday, hook up with your coach on Tuesday and they'll be able to show you how that can be done, because you already have the content built. So that's half the battle. But what we'll do in each one of these 4 sessions is actually continue to build more and more of the activities that you can do. And there is a whole series of what it is. Oops, sorry. Didn't put my finger down. Told you I do that often. So it talks about what there are. So we're really talking about more independent activities the next time, and then really facilitating that, and then looking at really collaborative workspaces in session 4. So it kind of gives you the progression of where we're going with these titles.
So I have a question. Are we to register? Because there's nothing there for the 29th. I've just checked.
Yes, so they will
This will
show,
be the same track, right? It'll say 101,
it'll say 102 for the next one.
102? Okay.
So session 2 is 102. Session 3 is 103.
So it's
Yeah.
just not here yet, but it will
Correct.
be.
Correct. And
So
what they're
you-
trying to do, Andrew, because I know what your role is, they're trying to connect it so that everybody who's in a 101
Stays in that cohort.
and will see all the 102s, but you would not see any of the 202s because that's not your track.
Okay, they're trying to organize it. Okay.
Yes. So, and I say trying to because I don't know that anybody has used that quite that way in quite some time, is what they're telling me in Quarterstone. So
Yeah,
that,
the easiest way is they have a list of who attended today. Simply send them a link 2 weeks from now, and we all know who to come.
yes.
It's not that hard a concept, but then again, never mind.
Yeah, I know, but you get it. You're where we are,
Absolutely.
and you'll see different things. All right.